So we got some news for the Kansas City Chiefs and their Chiefs organization, the fans. So the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday released former number one pick in the NFL draft, Eric Fisher, and right tackle Mitchell Schwartz. Both of them are tackles. One's, I believe, a left tackle. The other one, I believe, is a right tackle. Actually, I think Eric Fisher is a center. Hang on, let me just, I can't remember. Let me just look it up real quick. I just want to get my facts right. Eric Fisher. I just want to offensive tackle, my bad. All right, Eric Fisher is an offensive tackle as well. So they got rid of their two tackles, Nate. So this saves them $18 million, and they need $20 million like cap in general, like in cap space, like more. Like so they got 18 million, they need 20 million to end up like making some moves. But 18 million is still a lot of money. And the author of this article was John Teicher, ESPN staff writer. So you know what, Nate, I'll start with you first. Your thoughts on Kansas City Chiefs getting rid of Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz?
Well, first of all, I wish Eric Fisher, Mitchell Schwartz the best of luck moving forward. Obviously, this is something you don't want happen to. And by the way, I want to correct you. It's not John Teicher. It's Adam Teicher.
Yeah, Adam, I was about to say, I was going to say when it came my turn. I'm sorry.
You
I
said
wasn't looking at the
John.
article.
But
Adam
anyway,
Teicher.
but anyway, yeah, man. Obviously they're saving 18 million in salary cap. I mean that's just the stuff that you gotta deal with, especially when you sign one player to a $503 million deal for 10 years. That's just the kind of stuff you have to deal with, and that's why I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it, but most likely it does. I mean, I mean, getting $500 million for one organization is not easy, So I'm almost positive that it has something to do with that. Um, that's why it's just so risky to sign players to those big contracts because you sign one player to that one contract, but you could have signed like 4 or 5 players that have the talent and can help your team go to the Super Bowl with that kind of money. You know what I mean? That's why I find it so risky to give players that kind of money. And I'm not talking down on Patrick Mahomes by no means, but that's a lot. You gotta understand, $500 million. That's $500 million. I wouldn't be surprised in 10 years from now an NFL player gets paid that kind of $1 billion. I wouldn't be surprised. That's a lot of money. So, and my advice to the Kansas City Chiefs, use that 18 million to your advantage. Because that's, obviously, you're paying Patrick Mahomes, you're paying Travis Kelce, who doesn't have as big of a contract as Mahomes, but he's still got a relatively big one. I think it's like, what's it, Omar, like 4 years or 150 million something? I think that's what it is.
Who are you
Something
talking
like
about again?
Travis Kelce's contract. That one's pretty big too, is it?
Yeah, Travis Kelce's contract was pretty big too. Hang on a second,
Yeah.
I'm looking
So
at it.
I would say, obviously they did this to save salary, which is smart. But if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm using that money to my advantage because obviously are they still Super Bowl contenders? Yeah, absolutely. But now because you lost the Super Bowl, you got to improve your team. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the defending Super Bowl champions, they re-signed Levante David. They franchise tag Chris Godwin. They extended Tom Brady, which we'll get to that in the next video. Um, they're keeping all these assets, and they don't need to spend $500 million to do that. So obviously, if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm keeping my assets. Whoever hasn't produced for the Chiefs, I would release them. You know, increase your salary cap, and then use that money to your absolute advantage. That's me if I'm in the Kansas City Chiefs organization. That's what I'm doing. But but anyway, it's their decision, not mine. But that's just what I would do. And with that being said, good luck to Eric Fisher and Michael Schwartz in their future, and good luck to the Kansas City Chiefs too. And I'll give it to you, Mario.
Yeah, I'll take it from there. Good luck to the Kansas City Chiefs. Good luck to Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz. Yeah, Travis Kelce's contract is 4 years, 57.25 million.
Yeah, so it's
But
not that.
but before I say anything, I just want to get to what the general manager at Kansas City Chiefs said. Brett Veach, he said, and I quote, "I have a tremendous amount of respect for both Eric and Mitchell. Where Eric, obviously, he was the very first player that we drafted when we got to Kansas City, and we were able to watch him grow into a solid tackle for us for many years. With Mitchell, his durability and toughness is remarkable, and he certainly left his mark on our team. These decisions are never easy, especially with guys like these, but both of these players will forever be a part of our history." First of all, Nate, let me explain something, okay? I absolutely agree with everything that you just said. You need to keep all your assets, and you can't see the Chiefs were one game away from winning, from going back to back, one win
Right.
away. All right, and the fact that they're just like getting rid of they're already getting rid of their two tackles, it's a problem, I think. And on top of that, Nate, I just want to read this too that I found interesting. Mike Remmers, their starting left tackle this year, he's an unrestricted free agent. And Andrew Wiley, who played most of this season at guard, well, he was a start. My bad, excuse me. Let me rephrase that. He was a starting left tackle for the Super Bowl, Mike Remmers. And as for Andrew Wiley, he played most of the last season at guard. He is a restricted free agent. So how many
Mm,
offensive linemen is he going to let go?
yeah, right.
How many? Like it's unnecessary, really. And your team was one win away from a Super Bowl. You got beat bad by the New England Patriots. You learn from that and you move forward. You use this draft class or whatever overall pick that you have left to build. You know what I'm saying? Like you're getting rid of a long time offensive lineman. You get rid of another long time offensive lineman. You get rid of Mike Remmers. You get rid of like Andrew Wiley. Like how many offensive linemen are you going to get rid of? Now I know what the comments are going to say. 18 million is a lot to get a better offensive lineman. You're absolutely right, but here's the problem. Okay, what you don't even know what they're going to use that 18 million for. It's up to them to use this 18 million very wisely. They got to be very careful what they use it with. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I say take it to your absolute
Absolutely, and
advantage.
that's why I agree with you. So like use this 18 million towards better offensive linemen if you're going to do that. I don't want to see this 18 million go to like another wide receiver or another, like, you know what I'm saying? Something
Mm,
like use this 18 million for something that you need. You could have used this draft class and even build further up. You know what I'm saying? But like you don't even know like exactly what's going to be there in the draft, right? You don't even know who's going to be in free agency right now because extensions are still going on. Like it just didn't make any sense to me. I'm not really a big fan of this one, and I think
yeah.
honestly, if the Chiefs do not use this 18 million wisely, I think they're in. I think they're still going to make the playoffs. They're still going to go pretty deep. But to be honest with you, I think it's going to be a tougher season. Patrick,
Yeah, I
Patrick
agree.
Mahomes. This is gonna, but this is really also going to prove what Patrick Mahomes is like. This is really going to like dig deep into more of what Patrick Mahomes is made of. Because now, without two of your very elite offensive linemen, now we're gonna start seeing like exactly how Patrick Mahomes like adapts to that new O line. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So with that being said, I wish the Kansas City Chiefs the best of luck. You know, obviously like cap space has been kind of tough for them considering the $504 million contract or whatever it was.
yeah.
Um, but best of luck to the Kansas City Chiefs. Best of luck to Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz. As for them, I can see them going to a lot of teams need offensive linemen's name.
Mm,
I personally, for the Vikings, now since he's a free agent, I want Mitchell Schwartz.
right.
That's who I want. I want Mitchell Schwartz because I know Mitchell Schwartz is a very, very good offensive lineman. So, with that being said, best of luck to the Kansas City Chiefs. Best of luck to Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz. And I'm curious to see how next season is going to turn out.